Hello and welcome to another episode of Power On Podcast Portable. How's everyone doing out there? My name is Sushi B, and of course with me is the huggable, lovable, the dangerous, hopefully not dastardly, Taylor. How's it going, man?
Doing all right.
Good.
I go from huggable and lovable to dangerous.
You can be a bit of a changing chameleon, I guess. So.
Well, I guess. I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess. But I'm doing fine.
He moves in mysterious ways.
So I'm doing good, and I'm
good
to roll.
All I can really think to tell you right now is Un Forastero! I'm not sure if that is actually a phrase or something.
I imagine
I've certainly heard it a number of times.
I imagine it is something just from,
I presume
taking
so too.
Spanish means or something, I'm guessing. I don't know. I could be.
A deranged foreign man is killing us.
Right.
An outsider.
But I took Spanish in high school, so that's kind of way back in the memory banks. And
I've never taken Spanish though. But one thing that was interesting, just not to get too off topic quickly though, is one person I did know who had, was very fluent in Spanish, lived in South America for a long time. He had mentioned the average person from North America, despite where they're from, probably knows a very good handful of Spanish words that they're just not aware of, which is really interesting. He had mentioned some stuff, and I was like, wow, I guess there are a lot of things I didn't really think about, but I seem to know. It's pretty neat. Mm-hmm. But anyways, today we are covering a very popular game, and a game that has been ported to numerous platforms.
I think it just actually had a new one. Oh, no, wait, never mind. The series.
No, I think you're right.
The series had a new one, not that game.
Well, actually, I think I saw something that there was a new release of this game in 2014, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So today we're going to get right to it. It is Resident Evil 4. A bit of a game changer, I guess, for this franchise. I wouldn't say it was falling apart or anything by this point, but I think some people were kind of, Resident Evil, whatever. It's just another Resident Evil game, and 4 came out, and a lot of people got blown away by just how impressive it was in many different aspects, and I think a lot of people have fond memories of playing it to this day.
I'd definitely say it was at least a game changer in the sense of the series, most definitely, because of how I went with, especially with 5. But didn't they go through like a ton of different versions of this game? Because 3 came out in what, 99?
Something like that. Yeah, still in the maybe nearing the end of the lifespan of the PlayStation. Not like quite at the end, but later on in the lifespan. I remember reading about this game at some point. I don't know when, and it seemed to take a long time for it to come out. I just quickly did a bit of research before we started recording this. And I forgot, it's good that you bring this up because I forgot actually just how much it had changed. There was something, it was going to be specters and stuff and weird stuff like that. Not really zombies.
Hookman and things like
that.
Like, so. I want to say that they initially, with Resident Evil 4, it started really early in, late December or maybe not late December, but at least late in 1999 or something. And, it eventually became, its own thing. It became Devil May Cry or something.
Yeah, that's possible. I think, I could be wrong, but I thought Devil May Cry also kind of veered out of Onimusha. I thought that they were sort of being developed around a similar time, and I remember reading something that, I think Shinji Mikami helped do Onimusha, if I recall. I'm not 100% sure about that, but, I remember reading something about those development teams were kind of like, yeah, let's do this sort of like Resident Evil, but then Onimusha sort of went more like Resident Evil with a sword, essentially, and then Devil May Cry kind of went off and been into this other realm of, okay, we're just going to make this totally over the top and kind of goofy and whatever. So there's probably some truth to that. I wouldn't be surprised. You think about game companies, they don't typically throw something completely into the garbage can. They usually are able to draw something out of it later on down the line. So.
Yeah, because I really think with 4, before we got what we did get, I think they went through at least 2 or 3 different revisions of it.
Yeah, decent like demo builds, and then they were like, yeah, this is not working.
Right, and then I think they took some of the things and put them into like 5 and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. It seemed to be a big project for Capcom, and lucky for them, a big success too, because I presume they must have put in a lot of time and money into it, and it shows. This game certainly shows its age now, but it's also, well, it's 10 years old now, so I mean, that's a long time ago. It's hard to believe, but and they're still pumping out releases of it because it's Capcom, of course. But it was a very successful game in a lot of ways, and from, I don't know how much we can attribute to it for sure, but a lot of people do seem to credit it as that sort of over-the-shoulder third-person perspective was from this game. So, and this game was really popular for another reason as well. That I don't know if you remember, but Capcom made that huge announcement for the GameCube, and they were saying, "Oh, we have these exclusives coming from the GameCube, product number 9 or was it product number 3?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember the details, but I do remember them kind of
number 5, product number 5. That's what it was.
Claiming
took a little while to get it. They had Beautiful Joe, and they had Killer 7, and Resident Evil 4 was sort of like the big, blockbuster. And then there was a 5th game that, the name totally escapes me. It never came to fruition at all, as far as I know. Nothing came out of it. But there was like the Capcom 5, and everyone was thinking, the GameCube's got this great support from Capcom. And eventually, Nintendo supposedly had this exclusive deal with them, but all of those games ended up on PlayStation, except for product number 5. PlayStation 2, and I think some GameCube owners were kind of pissed. But
yeah, Capcom's pretty good at dicking over Nintendo from at least the last handful of years.
No, and a lot of other companies. Right. They've done a good job of making a lot of enemies as of late, it seems. If you want to know our opinion of the Capcom, you can go listen to that other episode that we did about Capcom a long time ago. So
right.
Let's leave the Capcom company out of this. Let's just talk about RE4 today.
Okay.
So, I don't know what your first initial time with this game was. I'll just very briefly bring up mine, though. A friend of mine, I had a GameCube, but I had no intention of buying this game. The only Resident Evil game I had played prior to this was the first one, which was Resident Evil Director's Cut on the PlayStation. And, I liked it. It was fine. It was fun, but I just was not really into the Resident Evil games after that. It just, whatever. And, a friend of mine, he's a big, Silent Hill fan, and Resident Evil and, Metal Gear Solid are 3 of his really, really treasured franchises. And, 4 was coming. I was really excited. And he comes over and he's showing me, and the first thing he showed me was the battle on the lake.
Oh, okay.
It was like the only thing he showed me, actually, because we just didn't have much time. Pretty neat, very different than the first Resident Evil game and stuff. And so that was the first time I had seen the game. It was the GameCube version.
Okay. Yeah, I love this game to pieces, and I first played it on the GameCube fairly early on with its release there. I don't want to say it wasn't more than a year after it had been released.
Okay.
And I played it because my roommate at the time had it, and he wasn't playing it, and I was like, mind if I play it? He was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. It's sweet. So I played that, and I for the series as a whole, I'd played a little bit of 1, none of 2. I just never had an opportunity to play, and some of 3. And personally, I prefer the early Silent Hill games, especially, I love Silent Hill 1. I love that game to pieces. And Resident Evil, I don't hate it, but I like the enhanced version that they did for the GameCube and the Wii. For one, a lot more everything. But I played this game to pieces, and then when I found out there was a PS2 version, got that and played that to pieces. And then once there was the Wii version, got that and played it to pieces. So
nice.
I really enjoyed playing this game, and for some people I know that they don't like it because it went away from the style that they had built up in the first 3 games. But
right.
it was all sorts of good for me.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. You know, I can see why people would be like, you know, it had a familiarity about it, but it certainly tried some very different things. Obviously it added the QuickTime events and so forth, and you had a laser sight in the, well, I guess in all those other console versions and stuff. And it's very, very different vibe. You know, I haven't played 3, but 3 seemed to have little more of the survival element, from what I understand.
3 was fun because Nemesis was always there to jump out,
scare the hell out of you,
right? Jump out from breaking down a wall and like, Rah! And you're like, oh, this is
here,
really inopportune. Thank you,
yeah,
kind of thing. You're just like, oh, this is really bad.
Yeah, you suck. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
good timing, friend.
Yeah, but with 4, it definitely cuts down on that whole. Yeah, there is survival in the sense of you do run low on ammunition and stuff at different points in the game, right. But it's of course nowhere near as sparse as it is in those other games, of course. Or at least the earlier games, so. Sure.
There's a little bit of a difference in speed, I think, in this game as well. Just, obviously the characters move a little faster. They're still a little clunky, but not quite as clunky. And you got the opportunity to jump over fences and things now. And instead of just, you're trying to navigate things and you're so stiff as a board.
Getting caught on corners.
Right. There's still some of that. There's still some technical issues like that, but they did a good job of sort of heightening the action aspect of the game a lot. And even though you kind of feel, it is a little funky at times, they did a good job of finding like, okay, yeah, you might be surrounded by zombies or whatever, but you have an opportunity to get out, or now you have a kick move to sort of protect yourself in close and things like that. So, but we can start getting into those mechanics here. Any other sort of opening remarks you want to make?
No, I'm pretty good to dive right in.
All right. So, just very quickly as well, I don't know exactly how many platforms, but the platform I guess it just came out on last year was a new Windows version that was like an Ultimate HD or something. And it's come out on the PlayStation 3. I think it's only downloadable on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, but it came out in like a PS2 Essentials pack. And then obviously, the version I played, and I presume you played, was the Wii version here. Is that correct?
Yes, I played.
Okay, so we both played the Wii version here. So that's a good thing. So we at least have similar game mechanics with the controls and stuff.
And it does make it a lot easier, of course.
Yeah, it really does. I only played for a little bit on the GameCube, and I was like, this is fun. It's easy to play, but I don't know. Would you say it's a lot funner on the GameCube, like, or sorry, the Wii, or?
I don't know if it's more fun on the Wii, but it's just because I really like the game and all facets of it there. So it's just I find it incredibly easy with the Wii version because you can just kind of like point, so and yeah, the control schemes for it, they were quite all right for me. So.
Yeah, I like it on the Wii. It's it makes some of the quick time events a little bit easier and some
easier.
Yeah, and aiming is very fast, and you can just boom, you can shoot really quick and stuff. And so, but all right, why don't we get past the plethora of platforms this thing appears on. Anyways, needless to say, though, you should be able to find a copy of this somewhere if you want to try it. If you have not played it, you shouldn't have too much trouble, hopefully, finding this game. And it's also not very expensive either. It's around. So, okay. So, this is kind of tough. Why don't we start, I guess, with the story? I mean, that's, I've noticed that with the portables, we kind of, I don't know if we negate the stories, but we seem to jump around with where we're going with stuff. So why don't we start with the story then?
All right. You're controlling Leon.
Yep. Oh god, that was very spot on actually.
I do what I can. But no, it's no, I don't know anybody named Leon. So if anybody's named Leon and wants to be my friend,
I have, well, he wasn't my student, but he spelt his name Leon, but he insisted, and he was a Korean student, he insisted his name was Leon.
Well,
and I was like,
yeah,
I get it, but
right.
I know we're speaking English. I'm going to call you Leon, okay? Like, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I had students that were like Leon and stuff like that, but I mean, it just I never grew up knowing anybody named Leon, so not like I'm heartbroken or downtrodden about it.
Odd remark from me though too. I did have a coworker in Taiwan, Taiwanese guy. And he met him and was like, what's your name? He's like, my name's Chris. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, guess where I got my name from? Resident Evil. And he's like, how did you know? Like, this was before 5, so he wasn't like some buffed out
roid abuser.
Roid abuser.
Alright.
But anyways,
yeah.
Continue on with Leon.
Yeah, he's Leon S. Kennedy. He's the main character for this. And you get to know him from 2, which I still have not played 2, so I don't know exactly what the hell happens in 2, other than him trying to escape Raccoon City.
The only thing I know is that alligator or something that... did you know that? Yeah, spoilers. He survives part 2. Sorry if you played part 2.
No, but...
I guess you should know by the point that he's on the front of the cover.
Right.
So, he's in 6 as well, I think. I haven't played 6, and most people don't seem to like 6, but I think he's in that too.
So, but you play as him, and he's got this mission that he's supposed to rescue the president's daughter, and
bring me the president's daughter.
And
that's Die Hard Arcade. That's the actual voice acting too. It's amazing. It's so bad.
And you're trying to rescue Ashley from these jackasses that use this what is it? A parasite to control large...
Plagas?
Yeah, Las Plagas.
Plagas, yeah.
Which is plague, but...
It's just purple stuff.
Well, I mean, I know, but I think the word means
like well, you always see the canister. Everyone's like, get the sample, and you're like, it's just purple stuff.
I think it's supposed to be
it's the stuff in the Sunny D commercial in the back of the fridge. It's that purple stuff that kid points out.
He wants the purple stuff. Well, I think there's supposed to be like eggs in there.
Lost purple stuff.
And you're supposed to deal with this. Would you call them like a cult or a sect or something like that?
Yeah, at least at the start of the game, they just seem to be villagers, right? I don't know. I guess it's arguable that they're part of the cult. I guess they are, right?
Well, yeah, because they're
infected,
indoctrinated into this thing with the Las Plagas, and
they're infected, right? So it's not just them, I guess, just willfully following, I suppose. But I don't know. When I play the game, I kind of think that at least the first part of the game, I just feel like they're controlled villagers. I don't really feel like they're cult members necessarily.
Well, at least in the latter half, definitely.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
But, yeah,
oh god, those guys creep me out too. They're gross, man. I don't stay up at night dreaming about them, but just there's a few moments later on where you just start hearing that chanting, you're they did a good job sound wise in this game. We'll get into that too.
So yeah, and you're going through. You have to deal with these guys as they're trying to. It's not that big of. I'll say it. They're trying to infect the president's daughter so that when they give her back to them, that they can just be like, oh, switch on, and now she's psycho and is gonna help
start killing things.
People. Right.
Using dynamite sticks and sickles and whatever else those villagers.
I always find it funny that here you are. And you've got these, you got guns and stuff, and then they're rocking some wooden shields and mace balls, and...
Well, that's later on. At the beginning, they're literally farming.
Right.
There's that dude with the pitchfork that's always chasing.
I mean, at least with the chainsaw, is a one-hit kill. Yeah.
Sure.
And that's always nice when you get killed and it's like your head flies off and you are dead.
I mean, the first time you see that, you're just like, what? Really? He's like, wow, that was unexpected. Because in the other Resident Evil games, you just sort of die. Like, especially in the first game, the zombies might bite you and there's just that weird blood that sort of sprays out and disappears instantly. Like, there's no real shocking death or anything in those games, I guess. I mean, maybe the other ones had, I can't comment for 2 and 3, but the first one, I don't really recall anything really that gruesome of a head being lopped off.
But it's all in good humor. But
not for Leon.
not for Leon because he's dead. But no, I mean I think it's good because it's supposed to instill that, oh shit, I cannot fool around with these guys. I gotta.
Oh yeah, you hear that chainsaw, especially that. The game starts. I wouldn't say slow, but you're kind of on that cliff, and then you're just sort of walking towards the village, and you're like, okay, whatever. And I mean, the first time I played the game, I even knew about the chainsaw. I played this game in 2008 or 9 on the Wii. Mm-hmm. I knew about the chainsaw guy. Obviously, everyone knew about the chainsaw guy. But even then, you still, that first moment, you maybe, I think I climbed that little house, and then you can go through that window.
Right.
So, I climbed up there and I kicked down the ladder. And so, some of those infected villagers, they're sort of swarming around and swinging their fists and then their knives at you. And suddenly you just hear that bang, and you're like, what? Where is he coming from? Where is he?
That's why you never enter that house. If you don't enter that house, he doesn't show up. And so you're just like, haha, jokes
really?
on, yep. Jokes on you guys. I think
yeah,
it takes a little bit longer, I think, but you're not wasting ammo on jackass. I mean, it's not really that difficult because you can just grab the shotty and then
shotgun.
Just perch yourself.
Right. 6 rounds or something. But still, so there is a way to actually just completely avoid him? Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that. I thought that he was just going to show up no matter what you did.
No, just don't enter that particular house and you're right as rain.
The bell tower, you can, that tall tower. I don't know if it's a bell tower.
I think you can climb it. Yeah, that's. Okay. I really think it's only when you enter that house, just because it has that cinematic. If you go through the front door, where he's like starts pushing it in there, and then all of a sudden you hear this, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. But if you don't enter the house, you can't get the shotgun right away.
Well, you can get it afterwards. Just be really good with the handgun.
It's true. The handgun's actually really good in this game, for the most part.
Right. So,
okay.
I mean, yeah, it's...
Well, you pretty much said most of the story for the moment. I mean...
Well, yeah, I mean, they're like...
there's other stuff, obviously, going on there. You got some side characters like Luis. He's pretty cool. I like him. He shows up at very inept times. I mean, you find him in a very awkward position as well, right? He's all gagged up and everything bound up, but
right. The characters that are quote unquote players on the stage, they're fairly decent. The only one that I kind of have an issue with is Krauser.
Yeah, he kind of sucks. Like, no, seriously, like he talks big game, but he doesn't do shit. Like, basically, I mean, he doesn't show up, I guess, until, well, at least mid-game kind of thing, right? At least. Like, you don't really get even a sniff of what this guy is or nothing. Now, he keeps mentioning Leon, how they have some sort of history. I don't know if this comes up in 2 at all. Maybe I'm missing some of the story there, but I just didn't feel the sort of connection there where I was like, yeah, I really gotta take this guy down. It was just more like, okay, he literally is an obstacle that needs to be taken care of, and that's it.
Right. He talks a lot, but I didn't really think he was that great of a
foil.
Oh, right. Yeah, thank you. And it's just kind of, I mean, he
folds like a piece of foil, though. I mean,
even like the leader of the group, the Illuminados, he's Sadler. I really don't care for him that much because there's so many times that he could have just offed him,
right,
and just been like, "All right, I win.
I will leave you with another plaything." He's basically a demonic Bond villain or something, like he sort of. I mean,
there's a point where Ashley is unavailable. She's kind of busy. She's kind of tied up with things. Yeah. And as Leon, you run into him as a cinematic thing, and he takes care of some I'm trying to leave some sort of spoilers.
I don't know how much you can leave, honestly, but...
Right, well, but he takes care of a character, dispatches him like no business, and then he's just like...
I'm leaving.
Alright, dude.
Well, he does this...
things to do.
He did this a few times, right? Where they literally are face to face. And Leon's just not going to get away with this, and he's, I might deal with you later.
I will leave you with my friend, Salazar. He will take care of it.
Yeah, or, he's just...
And then Salazar does the same goddamn thing with his own,
his own little henchmen guys there, who look badass, though, there.
And they're fun to fight, but it's just like, come on. Really? That's why...
I like their look a lot.
Yeah. Especially when they're shattering in fucking ice.
Yeah.
But,
well, I just like in the robes and stuff. And he's almost got like the predator mandibles and stuff. It looks really cool. Yeah. It's a really neat look.
But, I mean, yeah, it's just how they do that. It's really... and I know it's something that happens a lot in games. But I hate that so much when... If the antagonist and the protagonist encounter each other... And if they're meant to be kind of, trying to kill each other, why the fuck isn't the antagonist just like, alright dude, sorry, gotcha. I mean,
he's got all these abilities that are hinted at as well, right? I mean,
right.
This is a Resident Evil game, so if, whoever the big bad guy is, if you've played a Resident Evil game, they're going to have some sort of virus in their bodies as well or something, and it's going to lead to something. He certainly, he's not afraid to dispatch other people for some reason.
Right.
Like, as in kill other people. But, yeah, it's just sort of, for whatever reason, he's got this infatuation with keeping Leon alive. Leon's got, 3 horseshoes up his ass. He should be
got
killed.
Some very heavy plot armor.
He should be killed on so many instances. Like, there's a scene where he literally falls however many meters, and he's like, oh shit, there's some spikes. Yeah, and I've gotten my utility belt. He turns into Batman whenever it's convenient, or he turns into whoever it is that's convenient for the moment and stuff. So,
and I guess the other kind of major player that should kind of be mentioned there is Ada Wong, who I believe is in 2. I think.
I presume so because I haven't played 2, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about Ada. And this game actually gives a really cool thing that we'll get into where you can play as Ada, and I still feel like I know nothing about Ada, which is, I don't know if a good or a bad thing. It helps her character in a lot of ways, but another way to like, I wish I could get a bit more understanding of what Ada's doing here, kind of thing.
Right, like what the motive is.
She never really alludes to it. I mean...
Well, she alludes to it, but she just never says what it is.
There's times where I feel like she doesn't even allude to it. She's just sort of like, I have my own agenda. Okay, that's not even really alluding to anything. You're just sort of,
stating the obvious.
giving me a false thread to follow here. Like,
you got motives, really.
Doesn't everybody? Like,
right, exactly. But like, yeah, I didn't mind her so much.
I don't mind her. She's
right.
Cool.
She's definitely like leaps and bounds better than Krauser. So, and Sadler, and, like, I don't mind Salazar, but
Salazar is kind of fun. I mean, he's at least kind of fun.
Right.
Like
he's kind of like a funny,
weird, creepy child villain that you always see in like horror movies. So.
Right.
Yeah. Well, okay. Right. I want to do a quick 10 Degrees of Taylor since you brought up all these people, anyways. I wanted to sort of just, go through some of the villains really quick and get a quick score on them. Maybe you could put let's throw fear factor in here as one of the driving forces. So we've got fear factor as in like how much are you like facing them, or was it kind of like terrorizing at all or not? Let's put in. Well, of course, we always put in like look at the character, and I don't know what's another thing we could quickly base it on. How about story effectiveness? Let's put that in. So let's start with our buddies.
Well, I mean, they're all effective to a degree. I mean,
I agree, but that's the thing. That's to what degree? What degree do they really help push the story?
They're just pegs for that.
I think so, but let's get into it anyways.
Okay.
So very quickly, let's start with just the generic villagers or whatever.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about just bosses.
Okay, I thought that you were going. Okay, so scariness, Pushing story.
They're pretty creepy, actually.
What was the third parameter there? There's a third one.
Effectiveness in the story.
I mentioned that one. Like pushing the story, effectiveness.
Oh, and just look, just general.
Look. Okay. Yeah, they're looking like they need to be out in the sun more.
That's the thing. There is the sun, but it's just indefinitely clouded.
Right.
There's no sun in this game.
The San Francisco of Europe. It's constantly
raining.
overcast. I guess that's not more like Seattle. But anywho, I don't find them really scary at all.
Sure.
Except for the chainsaw ones.
Sure. But he's his own category, so.
Okay, you're gonna. So
yeah, he's kind of just like the plain generic.
I would give them like a 2.
Oh,
they're
wow.
not scary. Well, I don't know what the hell.
Scary, but I'm gonna give them a 5.
They don't push the story. They're fodder. They are there for you to learn how to shoot them.
They're ridiculous fodder too, because when you enter that first town, there are literally like 3 houses. And how is there like 8 billion dudes like in this town? You kill 4 of them, and then Chainsaw Guy comes in, you kill him, and then suddenly you're like, oh, you got to ring the bell, and then you're like, oh, where are all these villagers coming in? No gates are opening. Where the hell are they feeding out of? Well, you come around the corner, and there's constantly the girl with the apron going with the knife, and you're like, oh, come on, like. Where'd Susan come from? Or whatever. They have names, too. I don't know their names.
Wait, they have names?
They have names. Do you know there's that mini game where you do the shooting and you win those little trophy things? And it says their names.
I'll be honest, I don't pay attention to that. I just kind of do it. I'm like, okay.
You get the beardo guy with the sickle and the hat. Anyways, so 2. So let's move on. What about Chainsaw Guy? Who I found, I guess his name is Dr. Salvatore or something. I don't know. Chainsaw Guy.
What about, I'm going to couple the Chainsaw ladies in there too.
Absolutely. Yeah, the 2 sisters. I guess the Bella sisters.
Those ladies
they're
are creepy.
Looking.
Especially because you encounter them at the, one point if you go a certain direction. Yeah, and if you're not ready for it, you will die.
I didn't remember that. I jumped down and all of a sudden I was like, ooh, and there's 2 of them. So
right. Yeah, they gangbang you really quick and you're dead.
Yeah, I accidentally brought Ashley down there, so that's how it ended well. So I totally forgot about that part. So that's early on too.
I would probably bump them up pretty good to like a 7.5 or an 8 because they are
pretty scary.
I mean, not so much now, but you still kind of you're like, meh, when you're kind of if you're low on ammo or something like that. You got to make sure you have something that will shoot them back because you can't just pistol them and then be like, yeah, okay, just bang, 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 bang. Especially if there's others around. If there are other,
you're probably in trouble.
Right. If you don't have your back against the wall and there's a bunch of other stupid villagers around, it's not going to be a fun time.
No, probably not. So I'm going to go 8.5. I think that especially the main Chainsaw Guy with the potato sack, he's definitely become like a very iconic character for the Resident Evil series. I think a lot of people know him. And 5 tried to bring back like not quite the same guy, but another guy, chainsaw wielding guy and stuff. So I think that the chainsaw is probably here to stay in the Resident Evil series, and it's more or less because of that guy. So
well, I kind of wish they would have incorporated a side tangent, but in the Mercenaries minigame, they have the berserker ones that just flail around and shit that are like on some sort of
the dual ones or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those guys are crazy.
I wish they would have had like one of those dudes in there
in the main game.
Yeah, oh yeah, because those guys are just like they're not shit.
Well, it's just pretty funny because you encounter this guy a few times in the game. I know there's only so much programming data and everything, but like they look exactly the same. Or they're like 7 twin brothers or something, 7 tuplets or something, that they're all just like, we're going to be chainsaw guys when we grow up. Remember Mom's little potato sack? So
I got 7 of them.
Sure, like there's one scene later on where you're in like these ruins and you climb up a ladder and there's just one standing there. Like he just hangs out here.
I think there's like 2 of them or something.
Yeah, I think there's 2 of them in there. Yeah, there's one down in the basement and he runs up and you gotta fight 2 of them and whatever. But
right,
but
just kind of chilling.
I like Chainsaw Guy. He's pretty good. All right, Torres Mendez. This is the bald, large beardo guy with the trench coat. He gets quite a bit of billing, actually. He was promoted a lot before the game.
I would say, like, just the look of him. He looks. He looks like he'd be intimidating, and he's gonna, rock your face. His fight really
blows.
Really is not.
It's really underwhelming. Extreme.
For the very first time, it's a good set, because if it's the very first time you're playing it and you're still kind of getting used to it, you will totally get rocked if you're not really paying attention.
Possibly. I think when I'm using the shotgun, you're not going to get rocked.
I don't know. I don't know.
I've never been rocked by this guy. Like, even the first time I tried it, I was just like, really? That was it?
But if you're low on ammo and you got to kind of get around him,
I suppose.
It's a situation thing. Because I know the very first time that I got to him, I was pretty low on ammo and whatnot, and it was not a fun thing, but it got taken care of.
Cool setup for his area, though. I mean, like, it's in a barn and stuff.
Right, and it's catching fire and stuff like that.
For somebody who got such top billing, it's a bit interesting that they kind of took him, the chess piece off the board pretty fast, actually. He's within the first 3, 4, 5 hours, you're going to encounter him.
Yeah, and like his whole, that monstrous
he's a big guy
form
too.
He turns into, it's kind of, it'd be kind of creepy. Yeah. I would probably give it like a 6.5.
I'm gonna go 6 as well. The look is good, but the execution is a little bit on the weak side.
Right.
All right. Let's do a couple of other ones. We're probably gonna skip a bunch because we could do this for a really long time.
Yeah.
How about the El Gigante?
Oh, I hate this dude. I really do.
I kind of like them.
They're pretty easy.
Yeah.
And they're just...
They go away kind of fast, too, actually. You get...
Thank God.
3 fights, I think. 3... Definitely 1, obviously, to encounter them the first time, and they're punching those little shed building things down. Little wooden shacks or whatever. And then you get the duel. I like the duel.
And
that
then if you go through the other path, you come across them.
Yeah, that's right.
But
cool setup too. Once again, it's raining and lightning, and then suddenly it's big beasts in the way.
Yeah, like the one where you fight 2 isn't so bad, or is actually kind of cooler because one of them's got chains and stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
And there's a way to at least get rid of one of them, but if you're really close, it'll grab you. And
I forgot about that too. It's a cool fight. The dual fight's really cool, especially you're not really expecting it, sort of.
And it could be a point where you're really low on ammo.
Yeah, actually, there's a really good chance to be low on ammo there.
So, I mean, it's...
You can't knife them.
No.
I mean, you kind of can.
Well, right, but I don't know. I really think that they as a whole suck, personally.
They're big fodder.
Yeah, they're big fodder, so they get like a 3.5 from me.
Killer. I'm going to give them about a 6.5. Killer. All right, let's just do 2 more. Once again, we could do plenty here.
Right.
What about the Regenerator and the Iron Maiden?
Generator. What's the Iron Maiden?
The Iron Maiden is the spiky version of the Regenerator.
Okay. These guys are creepy as fuck.
Holy fuck, are they creepy. On a scale of 1 to 10, they're definitely a 10. They even have their own, it's not really music, it's like this creepy as shit ambiance that turns on. And they're breathing and, the first time and then there's like a scene where one rips out of that sack and stuff. You're like, they're done extremely well.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty cool, and the whole thing where you're where you shoot like a limb off, and then they start lunging at you and stuff.
Yeah.
Both
of them are cool. Both.
Yeah,
they're hard to kill. They're not easy to take down.
I think it's worse to shoot the leg off because I think they get faster.
They do that diving jump thing at you. They're not necessarily faster, but they've got a larger range to attack you now because you got to shoot both legs. It's fun to use the rifle on them though. You don't want to use the shotgun because you get close and they just they've got that
Maul,
mouth and they get on your ear.
Well, don't they have like that kind of like a stretching kind of thing to them or something?
Yeah,
a little bit?
yeah, I think so.
Or if it's just because they have really long limbs.
And then the Iron Maiden's got those spikes, so he
yeah.
just impales you and stuff.
Yeah.
Can't run past them because they'll impale you if you do that too. So.
And because you're using the rifle, it's in close range too. So it's kind of, at least for the most part, it's in like narrow hallways.
Usually, and they're stalking
rooms.
you, and you've got nowhere to run. Basically, you have to fight pretty much. I mean,
right. I like
them a lot.
So I mean, story wise, they feel a little out of place.
Kind of. I mean, you're sort of in this scientific laboratory, and you see like these weird tests being done on other things. There's that weird. Do you remember there's that weird one where there's a body that's like split in half and like a weird spider thing?
Spiders coming out of it. Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's like, you go from
villagers to these pitch
villagers to these right to these like bluish grayish kind of alien looking things, and it's I understand, you're going for like monster, kind of like a monster bit with it and stuff, but it just feels really different.
Yeah.
It's because of how, you're in the village or then in a castle, and then you get into this more scientific kind of place. And
this game does have some weird twists and turns. You end up in a lot of places. You're like, how the hell did I go from the lakeside to, whatever.
Right.
You do have a weird path, but.
Right. But, I mean, I would probably give them like a, because they're not really integral to the story or anything.
Really.
I mean, yeah, you could see, this is where this shit progresses, but I'd totally give them like a 9.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna cheat a little bit too. They're not, unfortunately, they're not iconic, but they do the job so well. Like they're really creepy. They look really creepy. The sound effects amazing for them. The ambiance is so terrifying. Like that. They fit in such a fantastic way, even though in a way they don't fit at all, but I love that they're in there. All right. There's plenty of other ones here we could do. I'm going to give you a quick choice for the last one. Do you want to talk about that Salazar henchman, or do you want to talk about, do you remember that U3 thing that Sadler's like, he's like, it's
the thing down in the cage.
The cave and caged area.
Right.
Which one do you want to go for? They're a little bit similar and a little bit different.
Yeah. Personally, I like the henchmen a bit more.
Okay.
I mean, I know they're easier, but
I like the battle more for the U3 though. It's really intense because the cage is falling into the cave. But they both kind of have that tail attack thing.
Right.
But I think there's more intensity with the U3, but the ambiance for I was just checking his name here. It says Verdugo is the henchman guy.
Mm-hmm.
His battle is a little bit cooler, like in its own way, too, right?
Well, I think also because it's the first of that kind of vibe of the battle, but then it's repeated with U3 there.
Yeah,
so you're
right.
Or so it's not nearly as impressionable, I think, in that regard. But I mean, it's still from
just very
the setting
intense as you're doing it,
right? Yeah, you got your time to go.
I suppose, if you were like talking to somebody way down the line, and if you mentioned either of those battles, you probably remember the henchman battle more likely. I suppose. Not everybody maybe, but I suppose that it leaves a little more impression. Plus you see that henchman a little more, right? You see him with Salazar, so you're like, oh yeah, I remember that thing.
Well, and like with my going through it, I don't even remember how the U3 fight went, but with the henchman, the very first time I went through it, I was so I think I had about 6 shotgun shells left, and I was in the room where the door, where the cage, where the elevator comes up and stuff, where you're waiting for it and stuff. Yeah, and I am just, shooting, wasting everything, trying to get rid of this thing, and I think I took it out with like 2 shells left. And I had no health or anything else left, and I was like, that was freaking awesome!
Pretty close.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool fight in its own way for sure. So.
But I personally, I'd give him like probably like an 8.5, and for kicks, the U3 probably like a 7.5.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll probably go 7 for the U3, and I'd probably go 9 for the henchman there. He's pretty cool. All right, let's get off that train. That was plenty. And once again, there are still tons of them. We could have talked about the crows, and we could have went crazy. And we've already done plenty here. So, and so what about? Let's talk about some of the weapons in this game.
All right. I mean, you have different classes of them. Like, I mean, you got the handgun, and there's a whole bunch of different handguns. Personally, I always liked using the handguns. Just because it was, I don't know. It's just, for whatever, I liked using the handguns a lot, even though, I would keep the original one for as long as I possibly could manage it.
Mm.
And
then it's blacktail time.
Right, and usually I try to push that until like really late in the game.
Yeah.
Just because it's fun to just use that original one, and then to bring in the blacktail on to just clean up.
Demolish. Yeah.
Right, because it gets a lot better. However, with the things like the kind of ye old shotgun.
Ye old shotgun. Single-barreled ye old shotgun.
Never fucking used that thing. I always just sold that and just...
Oh, yeah, get rid of it. You gotta go riot gun.
Right.
The riot gun's so much better.
Mm.
The other gun, I don't like the other shotgun, the spread one.
The striker? Is that what that's called?
I forget, but it, later on in the game, it just doesn't have the front force that you need. Yeah, like right. The impact just doesn't do as much as you need it to. It's good for, clearing when there's 5 zombies around you or something, but that riot gun it's got that nice concentrated blast in front of it that works really well. Yeah, I typically go with the handguns the whole way through too, just partly because you're not guaranteed to get bullets for the handgun, but they're much more plentiful than any other bullet in the game, basically. So.
Well, I could have swore, I could be wrong, but I could have swore, like, I never did this, so I could be totally off base, but I could have swore that you could totally cheat and get, like, the Magnum or something, the broken butterfly or whatnot, right. And then just sell all your other weapons and you'd only get that ammo.
Oh, really?
I could be wrong, but I thought I remember hearing about that a
lot. Didn't know that, but I've got the Magnum, like, always on me, but I never use it. Oh, no, sorry, I keep the ammo, but I never use the Magnum gun itself.
I always use it on bosses because it's funny just to take them out so quickly with it. Boom.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, now so there's a rocket launcher and what else are we missing? Something
rifles.
Else? Rifles. The rifles are good. Rifles are really effective. Like, so not early in the game, but later on, you pretty much need a rifle. Like.
Missing something?
Obviously the knife.
Like the special weapons. After you beat the game,
sure.
Unlock the Chicago typewriter, the infinite rocket launcher, the cannon, the hand cannon of fucking damnation, where you could just be like, charge, whoosh, and he just shoots at.
Yeah, I never unlocked that. What do you got to do to unlock that?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, okay, right. I did get that.
I think I could be mixing it up. I think there's the hand cannon, but I think there's like the Plagas removal thing. I don't know. Is that the same thing or not?
I don't know. I didn't unlock everything. I did play this game on my second playthrough. This was just I just reused a playthrough and tried it again, just to save time and stuff. I know that I just unlocked the Chicago typewriter and I forget what else. I just played it normally. I didn't bother to go and look for turning on and off, whatever costumes and this kind of stuff. I probably should.
I think it's like you beat it on professional mode or something, it unlocks it.
Yeah, I just played it on normal again. So. It's been a while since I played it, so.
Yeah, you get some pretty ridiculous weapons in there.
Some pretty cool stuff.
Oh, I think this is where the advent of the quick time events really kind of took off for that generation.
Yeah, arguably, I suppose. I mean, I know Shenmue really kind of initially kicks that off in, like 2000 or whatever.
But how many people played Shenmue?
It's not necessarily that people played Shenmue, but,
Well, I mean,
film producers, game producers saw Shenmue and were like, yeah, we should put that in our game because it's speedy or it's this or that. Did
they though?
I think some people really did. I think some developers were impressed with it in Shenmue. And you know what? QuickTime events have been around obviously well before that. We have Dragon's Lair. Like, that's all.
Right. Well, I know, but I want to think that QuickTime events really kind of became a talking point with 4. And
I won't disagree with that. I think that I wouldn't say perfected it, but it definitely hugely popularized it at that time, for sure. Right. I would agree with that.
Yeah, and I mean just that term, QuickTime events, I don't
That's from Shenmue. They call them QTEs specifically.
Okay, well, but I'm saying, like, me myself, because I never played Shenmue, and people that I talk to never played it.
Yeah.
And so to them, this is like, I guess a better way to phrase it would be a lot of people's first kind of introduction to the QTE.
As we probably know it still.
We know it, right, that with that sort of terminology came from this game.
Yeah.
At least I think so.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. It's just I don't know why. I remember specifically, though, that they used that term for Shenmue, and then it seemed to just sort of float around a bit, and then it was like, oh, and Resident Evil 4 has QuickTime events.
Right, and I mean, that's what, a 5-year difference?
Give or take, yeah.
Right.
Plus, we have to remember, as you said, though, this game was in development for who knows how many years, right? Probably before 2000 or just around that time. So around the time of Shenmue. So who knows if they implemented it because they saw it in Shenmue or whatnot. Who knows? It could be from Shinji Mikami could have been like, I really like Dragon Slayer. I'm gonna put this in. So who knows? But yeah, this, God of War is around this time as well, and it also really helped popularize that too. Personally, I've never hated QuickTime events. I know there's certain times where they can be frustrating and stuff, but they never, to me, feel like they really, really destroy a game's pacing or change the mood so dramatically that I'm just incredibly pissed off that there's a QTE in a game.
I personally, I don't like them because here you have a cinematic that people put time into for you to watch.
Right.
But they want to be like, oh, well, here's something for you to keep you engaged. And it's like, well, I should be engaged in watching the damn thing. It's kind of like that fight that happens in Metal Gear Solid 4. There's a boss fight that happens that's, it's kind of like a boss fight where it's split screen and part of it, cool fight action scenes going on. And here you are trying to concentrate on stupid ass Metal Gears and stuff and geckos and stuff.
That's the shit where it's like, oh, charge the rail gun and shit. Yeah.
Right, and you're just like, man, can't I just? And I understand it's it's already a lengthy video, lots of videos in that one, but I mean,
that's an understatement. But
right, I mean, it never appealed to me to have it. Like when you're going through early on and they push the boulder down to crush you.
And you shake the...
I like that. I actually like that. Cause that's while you're playing, it's incorporated. I don't mind that so much. But when you have it, when you're watching and then they're all of a sudden, hey, pay attention, fuck you, you're dead.
Yeah.
Kind of, it's kind of annoying.
Oh, no, I'll agree with that too. And once again, a game like Shenmue sort of did it more so it's, okay, you're in a discussion, but then you know that the game trained you to be ready to do those sorts of things. It wasn't just you're watching a full cinematic and now suddenly within the cinematic, now you got to push A because you're going to die. Not that I recall. Now, it's been a while since I played it. This game has some of those scenes, though, where, Krauser's got a knife to Leon's face or something, and he's been doing this for the last fucking 10 sequences that you meet him, and he's just flipping the knife, and flipping the knife, and flipping the knife, and it's like, okay, you meet him this time, and then, he stabbed you in the face because you weren't paying attention or something. And it's like, what? Yeah, I agree. That's just cheap. That's this cheap engagement in what's going on. Oh, we think you're not paying attention. You're dead.
Well, not even just not paying attention, but it's like, you have to be constantly engaged. And it's like, you don't have to be engaged playing, well, let me rephrase that. You don't have to constantly be playing to be engaged in a game where you have cinematics.
Right.
Because you are engaged differently. As long as it's not, Xenosaga fucking hour and 15-minute movies, people probably will be alright. Maybe not so much now, but people, at least at that time, were totally cool with 5-minute, hey, fuck you, no, fuck you, I'm gonna kill everything, kind of thing. So,
to me, in that case, that does feel cheap, though, still. I think that if you were going to have the QuickTime event, at least find another way to engage the story then, instead of just like, okay, watching, and bam, here's the thing. You know, you need to, I don't want to say warm the player, but there's got to be a prompt. You know, now you're back involved in the game again. We wanted you to get this piece of information. Now it's back on you, kind of thing, instead of here's the information and bam. That's like going to the movie theater and then like somebody punching you in the face during a scene because they want you to be engaged. And it's,
well,
you know, in the theater, yes, that happens sometimes because it's live, it's happening, but that's different than.
But, like, just do it like how they did the boss fight with him. You know, he has those instances.
Let's not
where
talk
you have
about Krauser. He sucks anyways. So
I know, but I think it's a good point because that's a lot. You know, that happens a lot with him. I mean, well, okay, think of the henchman. The henchman has the thing where you're running through the tunnel there, and it prompts you to be like, "Hey, watch out, because he's about to fucking stab you."
Yeah.
Okay, you know, that's fine. I like that. That's fine. It's fine, but not.
Because you were pre-engaged already, though, right? It's
exactly.
like, you know, you're already playing the game. This game has, with especially, again, I guess we'll go back to Krauser, but with his sequence, there's like full stretches of nothing. Like you're trying to get involved in this cinematic, right? You're watching, it's like, oh, that's really cool. And Leon's doing these flips and all this stuff to get out of the way. And then it's suddenly like, literally, push B. After watching 2 minutes, and it's like push B, and then it has another huge stretch of nothing happening. It's like, now push A. Why? Why is this here?
Right.
I could just enjoy the cinematic, and then you could just have a short, I don't know, like a 2 second black screen that lets me know, okay, you're going to be fully engaged here again. Now you got to do these QuickTime events. Fine. But anyways, let's move on from there. We could complain about that for a while more, I guess. But, where should we take this here?
No,
we've certainly covered a bit
a
here.
whole bunch in there. Yeah, I mean, the music I don't really.
Yeah, well, I think we should touch on the music. I think this game has got a bit of range to it. I mean, it's at least posing to be a darker and grittier game, but it's got some interesting music. I mean, when you get it later in the game, there's pretty much like tribal music being played. Where does this? Huh? Like, is this coming on like a loudspeaker or something? Like,
I think that's why I don't really like have. I really just don't. The music to me is just not really memorable at all. I cannot sit there and be like, oh, what did the music sound like for this? I get silence. So it was something that, for me, as much as I love music and video games, it did deter me from actually enjoying it just because I enjoyed the gameplay of it so much.
Okay. Well, I will say I do, and we brought it up, but I did really enjoy the Regenerators sort of ambiance music, if you will.
Well, the breathing is what I remember.
Well, the breathing is on top of that, just like deep, almost like vacuum sound of like nothingness. And it's like a... And then you hear the breathing on top of that, and you're like, oh, it's just done really well. The sound design in this game is excellent, though. You know, you're saying you don't really care for the music, and that's fine. I don't mind it, and I'm not going to argue that it's really memorable. To me, it wasn't, but I enjoyed it. But the sound design is done very, very well in this game. Like, from villagers shouting at you to the chanting of those, what are they called?
The Illuminados group.
I don't want to call them
the Matador.
Yeah. What?
I don't remember what they're. Oh, I guess it's Matalo or something. Matalo.
Yeah. Matalo. Like they're like cultists. They're like cultists. And they're pretty creepy looking too, right? They've got weird tribal-ish or scars on their face and bald and goat head masks and shit. And, they're pretty creepy ass, but fantastic sound design for them. One sound design I hate is the damn crossbow bolts, because as soon as you hear it and then you get hit with one, and one randomly hits Leon in the eye and takes out 90% of his health. The other one hits him in the thigh and it does 5% damage. Like, it's such a random thing. I hate hearing that sound because I'm just like, God damn it, where are these assholes? Like,
the ones I always hated was those stupid, because I just hate the enemies, because we haven't really talked about those stupid blind claw.
Oh
guys.
God, those guys are tough.
I hate those guys.
Those guys
so
are
much.
tough.
They're
weird Wolverine.
right.
Yeah, I guess I could have brought them up for the little Taylor countdown. Great design though, right? Like I love the cool idea of their
concept. Yeah,
and,
I like
good concept and just tough as nails to beat those guys. And usually you're semi surrounded by other enemies too, which doesn't fight. You got those damn chanting cultist guys, and they're just like, blah, 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 and then you got guy going, blah, and he's like swinging like a mad fiend at you, and you can only hit it.
I totally cheat when the part where you have to fight like two of them, and you're all surrounded by a bunch of other, cult members and stuff. I totally cheat because I know it's coming up by a rocket launcher, and just take at least one of those fuckfaces out because I hate that part so much.
Yeah,
it's like whatever,
like
in your face.
I love just using the incendiary grenades on them, but usually don't have enough. But I love burning those guys because that's like the one way you can take them down pretty fast if you got enough. Otherwise, we didn't talk about the grenades. Not overly useless, but not overly useful. They've got their moments where they're good.
I would say they can be pretty useful. It's just knowing when to use them.
Can be a little too.
Yeah. I mean, even the flash ones are pretty damn good.
They can be.
If you're like, oh, there's a lot of them, let's blind them and then super kick them.
Sure. Not Clawboy there, but.
Right, yeah.
Clawboy's just like, what the
useful
fuck?
It wouldn't even be that. You'd just kind of be like, oh, something just exploded. Fucking stab, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
no, the grenades aren't bad. I kind of forgot about this. I don't know why.
And I know, I mean, there's just a ton of else to talk about. I mean, there's the whole mercenary minigame thing.
Well, let's very, very quickly just touch upon that the Wii version did include some stuff that the GameCube version doesn't. And I guess all versions after the GameCube have included these other things like the mercenaries, which is basically pretty much just, stand as long as you can kind of thing and get as many points as you can.
You're trying to add time and kill zombies at the same time.
Going to unlock some other characters to play the
stages. And it's fun because you can get like Wesker, you can get Krauser, and I hate Krauser as a character, but I love playing as Krauser because his bow is beastly.
Actually, I didn't unlock Krauser, and then I presume the other one was Ada.
Right. And you get Hunk.
I got Hunk though.
Hunk is a beast.
He's not bad, but
he has TMP, and he just says "fuck you" and just.
Wesker kind of sucks, actually.
I never use him.
Yeah, he's not that good. His physical attack is good. Like, if you get close, he does that push thing, and you can, like, launch, like, a bunch of them at once. But, he's got, like, a silenced pistol, and it's not very strong. And he has a Magnum, but it's hard to find the Magnum bullets and stuff, so.
With Krauser, he has that insta-kill.
Oh, yeah? Does he knife somebody?
Well, no, his arm turns into that.
Oh, okay.
That thing, and it stabs him. So, that stage where those psycho chainsaw dudes come through. You just wait, and because you use it, and then it has to like build up again, and then when it's your arms kind of redding, or it's kind of glowing red, you can use it, and it kills them. It kills them one hit. So you're just like okay, all right, and
awesome.
they're dead. And you're like, yeah.
I only did particularly well on one stage, and it was the sort of on the dock area, and I destroyed it. Yeah, well, that's where the buddy is, but.
Right.
70,000 points or something stupid. Like,
nice.
I did really well. But then the castle one, I tried it like 3 times. I was just getting frustrated. Those bastards kept surrounding me, and I was just like, oh, this is really hard.
And that's where those jackass
those fucking
claw dudes come from.
Yeah, and not only that, you also get the my buddies with the bolts, there they are. Right. So you got Clawboy coming at you, and then they're shooting you in the back and stuff. And you're just like, getting frustrated. Yeah, the missionaries is pretty cool. Get another part, which is called Separate Ways with Ada. This was my last thing that I had to clean up. I just finished it today, actually. It's a nice little extra to throw in there. Once again, I don't feel like Ada gets much out of it still. Like, she's just sort of retelling what is just happening all in the main story, unfortunately. But you get a bit of Wesker. You get to see what Wesker's whole deal is, at least some of his deal here, so that's a nice little addition, and it's pretty fun. I
mean, it's not too bad. I mean, it's broken up into 5 chapters.
5 chapters,
and like the first couple chapters are fairly lengthy. At least they feel lengthy.
Surprisingly,
and then it speeds up, and the last few are really, really quick.
4 is pretty short.
And it's just, it's not too bad. The final fight's a little like the final boss. Like she has a fight with Sadler, which is kind of fun, sorta.
Sort of.
I mean, it's just because you have to pay attention because he can one hit kill you.
Yeah. He smashes her face in the ground and breaks her neck.
Yeah.
And I only know because I died like fucking 10 times trying to fight him. Well, because at first I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, I'm shooting him and he
floats to you and says, fuck you.
Yeah, I was shooting him and he was just like, meh, bullets, whatever.
Whatever.
And he can move fairly fast. He can sort of slink around because he can use his arm to slide up to the railing and stuff. And I finally figured it out. And I was trying to use the crossbow on him and stuff, and it wasn't working. And
that's what you use.
Well, I figured out
there's
another way. I just smoked him this time. Like I killed him in like 3 shots. I was like, what the hell? After dying like 8 times. It's an okay fight. I like the Sadler Leon fight a lot more, honestly. But it's a pretty cool final fight. I liked it at least.
Yeah, and even after that encounter, you have a little bit more with Data, where she's kind of, which isn't too bad. It's not bad.
It's pretty
amazing.
Simple. You pretty much just walk with a shotgun, shoot anything that moves. I mean, that's it.
Right.
You shoot and run.
Right.
She's got a hook shot too. Actually, she's got a little bit of different gameplay as well. So.
Yeah, it shows up.
It's wonky.
A couple times.
I mean, it's wonky,
right.
but it's different. At least it's not just like, okay, here's just a Leon reskin in a few different areas to explore.
Right. And there's also another game. It's like the Ada Files, I think is.
Yeah, that's really short though.
It's really short, and personally, I find it kind of sucky.
It's not as good as Separate Ways. It's not.
Right.
Mercenaries and Separate Ways much better.
Right, because
I wouldn't argue.
The files thing.
They threw it in. I'm not going to argue about it. I mean,
right. I mean, you're going around just trying to get these 5 different samples or something like that, and it's not really easy. It's just not really eventful. Right. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's not too hard. Like I actually, because there's a certain pattern with because you fight Krauser at the end. There's a certain pattern with how he is in that you can kind of quote unquote cheat it. You can kind of kick his ass in like 15 seconds, pretty much actually. If you kind of recognize it, but I was being so damn lazy and I was just like, whatever. Well, here's the thing though. I got to him and I only had a little bit of health and he hit me once and I was down to like a slither of health. And I didn't have anything to heal myself with. And my brother is watching me, my younger brother, and he's all like, "Oh my God, Taylor, you're gonna die," and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, "Watch this," and he comes at you. Yeah, and he comes at you, and you're like, okay, back up, boom, boom, boom. Okay, run. Okay, boom, boom, boom. And he just looked at me like I went to deity level or something. I was like, no, he's really not that hard. Yeah, he's really not. That's the thing. Like, they keep imposing that he's something special, and you're just like, what? Here's a TMP, eat it. Like, yeah, he's never hard. Krauser is never hard. Fuck you, Krauser. Not really. You are not anything in this game. I'm so smart. Except for fight on a tower with explosives. Yeah, you're done. You're done. You're done, friend. You got it. There's a reason why Wesker doesn't really trust you, you bonehead. We'll just see. Yeah, we will. He could be beaten by a crow. Like, that's... A crow would peck him and he would be dead. Okay, yeah, so there are some extras in the Wii version and most of the other versions, which are nice additions too. So all in all, the Wii version's a great version to pick up for sure. Even though it's a little bit on the easier side due to the controls. I haven't played the other versions, so I can't say it's the definitive version or anything, but I very much enjoy the package that I put together for it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say one version is more the definitive one because then you could argue, well, this is the original one. Sure. So is that, the definitive because that's what they actually came up with? Or would you say a later version is because they added the stuff they always wanted to add initially? Right. Personally, I like the ball just because I just fucking love the game. I mean, the Wii version makes it a little easier, so there's that. But I mean, it's still an enjoyable experience. And I mean, if you have played it and loved it, definitely tell us what your favorite parts are, or your least favorite parts. Yeah.
Somebody's probably going to be totally like, you guys are wrong about Krauser.
Krauser's the man! So, but, yeah.
I want to marry the U3.
I would like to hear a lot of people's thoughts on how they incorporated quick time events in the game, because I'm curious to find out what, people, how they thought about it and stuff. So
send us your thoughts and prayers about Mike, the helicopter pilot. That guy's awesome for about a minute.
Because he's only in it for 3. I mean,
we're gonna go down to this sports bar. Oh shit! down I go. I wish he literally just said, "Down I go." It is pretty awesome that a random villager's just like, meh, and fucking blows.
Yeah, he just rocket. Like, fuck you. Get out of here. Whatever. Joker.
That's a pretty cool sequence, though, where all those zombies are just like, we're coming for you, and then suddenly this helicopter just ripping them to shreds.
Right.
Pretty cool. All right. Well, once again, there's probably other things here we're certainly missing and could touch upon here, but let's wrap it up now.
Wrap it up.
All right. So, thank you for listening to our look here at Resident Evil 4. A fantastic game. If you have somehow managed to miss it, it's 10 years old. Maybe this is a good time to pick it up and give it a playthrough and enjoy the experience.
Indeedy.
All right. So, for myself and for Taylor, thanks for listening, everyone, and we will catch you again next time.